I also was pleased that the Congress finally did something I've been advocating, which is to stop filling the Strategic Petroleum Reserve at these high prices, and I would release some of that oil. We've done it before, and it has a downward impact on prices. I also am going to take OPEC on. They're a monopoly cartel. They have basically been dictating our economic future, partly our fault because we haven't stood up and done anything different. But we need to take them to the World Trade Organization and change our laws so that we can sue them under antitrust. They can no longer be giving a free ride. They take our money and use it against us in many instances. So my goal is to be able to go right at OPEC and start creating some competition in a allegedly global marketplace that should be based on supply and demand. And finally, these gas prices and diesel prices have to come down. I think the only way to do it is to take on the oil companies. Other presidents in the past have done that. Now, it's not easy. I'm well aware of that. But that's why I said, look, I think it is time for us to say to the oil companies, they pay the federal gas tax out of their record profits and let you have a break this summer, which will save about $100 for the average family in South Dakota and hundreds of dollars more if you commute long distances or you use your truck or your car or farm and ranch vehicles to the extent you need to in your business. So there's a lot we can do on energy. If we do what I have proposed, we will begin to combat global warming. We will enhance our security, and we will create at least 5 million new jobs in America. And we'll create a lot of good jobs right here in South Dakota. We also need to be investing in bridges and roads and tunnels and water and sewer projects. And I know you got some big water projects here that you're looking to. I would like to see us do a bonding program similar to what we did during World War II. Some of you may be old enough to remember. I remember my parents and grandparents telling me they bought war bonds. I'd like to see us sell Build America bonds. I think a lot of Americans would buy those bonds, and that could provide financing to provide some of the additional money that is needed for states, localities, and for tribal governments to actually build, repair, and modernize their infrastructure. And finally, we need to end President Bush's war on science. He is underfunding the National Institutes of Health and the National Science Foundation and the Department of Energy and the Department of Defense. And I meet people all across America who are waiting for that cure for diabetes, for Parkinson's, waiting to have somebody tell them what causes autism and Alzheimer's. I want to invest in our scientists and our researchers, our engineers and our technicians, our innovators and our inventors again. These are the people who break new ground for America, create new economic opportunity, enhance life. And I am so grateful that they're willing to do it. But we need a president who believes, once again, that these investments should be made, and I will. And if you help me, that is one of the high priorities that I will take to the White House. When we begin to find cures and treatments, it's so important that we make sure we have a universal health care system. Because I think that it's time for America to declare that health care is a moral right, not a privilege. I know that there are so many people who don't have insurance in South Dakota, and a lot of people who have insurance but it doesn't cover what you need. The plan I have proposed will cover everybody, lower costs for everybody, and improve quality for everybody. And you ask, how can that be? Well, let me just say that if you have health insurance now, you are paying a hidden tax of $900 in your insurance policy to care for people who don't have insurance. Once we get everybody in the system and people pay something and we subsidize the difference, your health insurance policy costs will go down. If you don't have it, or what you have doesn't really help you, We're going to open up the plan that Congress has for itself and for federal employees. It's a good plan, and you pay 75% of it with your tax dollars. I figure if it's good enough for Congress, it's good enough for South Dakotans and Americans across our country. And here's how it would work. If you have health insurance and you're happy with it, you keep it. But if you want something different or you don't have it, you'll be able to buy in to one of the more than 250 plans that are offered in the federal health care system. And if you don't have the resources, you'll get health care tax credits. And we're going to limit the amount of money that you ever have to spend on a premium to a low percentage of your income. Why can we do that? Well, number one, because if we start paying for prevention, we'll actually save money. Don't take that from me. I'll tell you, one of the best experiments that's been done was by a big grocery chain in the West Coast. This chief executive, a conservative, Republican, looked at the numbers. He said, I can't keep paying this. He had like 200,000 employees. Everything he did to try to get costs down, it didn't work. So he took 30,000 employees and he said, I'm going to try something radically different. I'm going to pay for every prevention that they need. So if you were a smoker, he paid for you to quit smoking. If you were overweight, he paid for you to go to nutrition classes or exercise programs. He paid for mammograms. He paid for prostate screenings. He paid for everything. At the end of the year, his cost for those 30,000 employees dropped 15%. Prevention will pay. The insurance company just won't pay for prevention. So we've got to require that insurance companies quit discriminating against people who are sick and start paying for prevention, and have doctors and nurses back actually delivering health care instead of arguing with insurance companies about paying their bills. I'm the only candidate left with a universal health care system. So if health care is a big issue for you, I hope you'll vote for me on Tuesday, because I believe we can achieve that goal once and for all. And I want to be sure education remains a passport to opportunity here in South Dakota, starting with preschool education, Head Start, early Head Start, pre-kindergarten programs. If children get better prepared before they start school, they will do better in school. They will graduate from high school. They will perform at a higher level of academic success. It's one of the best investments we can make. It's a better investment, in my opinion, than No Child Left Behind, which I'm going to end. It doesn't work. You know, I was out at Pine Ridge today. You go to Pine Ridge, you go to Rapid City, you go to New York City. Those are very different school districts. One size does not fit all. And it's time we had a president who understood that and would actually work with you to try to give you the tools that you need to be successful with the children that you are educating. I know that Rapid City is facing some financial challenges in your school district. Well, I think the federal government can be a better partner. Instead of an unfunded mandate called No Child Left Behind, how about the federal government finally paying you what you're entitled to and what was promised 30 years ago for special education? The federal government promised to pay 40%, never has. I have voted for that. As president, I will try to implement that. So there's a lot we can do to have a better partnership between the president and our educators. And I want to make college affordable for every young person who wants to go and is willing to take on that responsibility. Because I know very well that it's more expensive today to send a young person to college than it was when I went. You know, back when I went to college, my dad, who was a small businessman, he saved our money. And he said, I can pay for room, board, and tuition, but if you want to buy a book or a cup of coffee, you got to earn it yourself. And that was fine, because I had a job of some sort or another since I was 13. So